The RBA says they don't expect interest rates to cut for the next 6 months. Here's why it could be sooner. According to the RBA's inflation data, red being the actual rate and RBA forecast is the grey line, currently we're sitting at 3.8% for the inflation rate. And as you can see here from the grey area, this is the RBA's target, which is 2 to 3% for inflation. And as you can see here, we're above here, which means the RBA will have to increase interest rates to bring us under control. Now, to give you a bit of history, Australia's inflation rate began at 4.1%, which is the first quarter of January. And then by March, it went to 3.6% and then 3.8% in June. And the RBA, which is the grey line, predicts will be at 3% by December. Then if you hear the most recent conference press by old mate over here, Michelle Bullock, the governor RBA, she says she's not comfortable in cutting rates, even though our inflation is trending towards 3% by December. Now, interestingly enough, this is the graph that projects the futures market for the cash rate according to ASX. As you can see, our cash rate is at 4.35%, but look at this. The futures market had more than fully priced in a cut of 0.25 points in the bank's cash rate by November. As you can see, this 4.35, and then they projected in the rate cuts. Now, right now, you must be scratching your head and asking me, hey Q, what is our ASX 30-day interchange cash rate futures? Well, according to ASX, the cash rate futures is used as like a hedging tool. According to this article over here, the cash rate futures is an instrument to hedge or insure or protect from the risk of exposure. In short, it's just a tool that traders use, and it doesn't mean it influences what the RBA does, but it does speak volume in terms of contradicting what she's trying to do over here, which is not cut any interest rates in the next 6 months. And adding to this equation, there is a likelihood America, by the end of this year, will enter into a recession. Because according to the same rule, SAHM, the US unemployment rate has climbed to the 4th month in a row. It has increased from 4.1% to 4.3%, which is enough to fulfill the requirements of what is known as the SAHM rule. And according to the SAM rule, which has predicted every US recession, the United States, old mate Uncle Sam, is going to go into a recession very soon. If the US is going into a recession, despite who the F is going to win, Kamala or Trump, you reckon Australia is not the next domino that will go into a recession too? I mean, Ms. Bullock over here, I'm not telling you to do your job, but did you know Australia's economy barely grew at all in the first 3 months of the year? Look at our GDP. This is a KPI of our productivity. Like if there was a boss and like Australia was an employee, the GDP from 2020, obviously there was a COVID hit us and we went down, but 2024, we're slumping down. Our KPI is so crap for productivity. This is China's GDP, my cousin's GDP. 2024 all the way to 2029. Woo! You reckon if old mate Uncle Sam, which we're really tied to because we're like their lapdog, if US, boom, falls, and then, you know, it affects our GDP, which is like progressively backwards at the moment, hits us by maybe 0.5 to 0.8% in terms of our production, you reckon we won't go into a recession, Ms. Bullock? This is why the people that are smarter than us, which is the traders who put their money into the market, are pricing that the Reserve Bank will be cutting interest rates. So the next question I'm going to ask you is, as investors, first-time investors or savvy investors, people like myself, if we're projecting that there will be a rate cut in the next 6 months, despite what Block is saying, what are you doing with your investment game? Are you jumping into the property right now whilst, you know, the lending is pretty hard and then, you know, prices are like okay? Or you're going to jump after the RBA jumps in to cut interest rates, where everyone goes into a frenzy and the property that you would have bought today is now 100 grand overpriced. Jump in the comments. Do you believe in these predictions? I would love to hear what you think.